On a gusty Saturday afternoon at Quigley Field here on the campus of Malvern Prep, the Friars come into today at 9-0, playing host to the 6-2 Germantown Academy Patriots. For SFBN, I'm Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Flittinger. Kevin, it's senior day for the Friars. 22 of their players on their roster in their final home game here today.
Yeah, suffice it to say the senior day ceremony was a little long, but that's a good thing. 22 seniors, they've been the backbone of this squad all year long, and Chris, they're trying to become the first Malvern team. Now, we still got some games left, but the first Malvern team to ever go 11-0. There have been some 10-0 squads. There's been an undefeated Malvern team before, but again, that would be that history that they're aiming for this season. And GA and SCH stand in their way the last two games of the season.
Yeah, a lot of history this year for the Friars. We got Drew Gunther, who has a chance by the end of the season, Kevin, to potentially break the program record for passing yards. This is a senior-heavy squad, and Sebastian Constantini will kick off for Malvern. They'll be traveling left to right on your screen, and he is just committed to go to Penn State as a preferred walk-on. Constantini's kick is off, and it is received by number 4, Timmy Ruth, who is tackled just short of the 25-yard line.
On the return.
And as you mentioned, sorry to get in your way there, Chris. As you mentioned, we'll see it when Malvern comes out on offense, but the single-season passing yard mark was set in 2014 by Hornibrook, Alex Hornibrook, with 2,156. So Gunther needs 304 yards the last two games of the season to tie that.
Be interesting to see when the Friars are on offense, but right now it's the Patriots. They are led by their senior quarterback, Matt Brittingham. This will be his 4th start at quarterback on the year. First play for the Patriots is a handoff to Trey Vance, but he is swallowed up in the backfield. Vance came into today with 883 rushing yards, but he got nothing there.
John Turley and Bachrath combining for the tackle on that play on the first carry. This is a GA squad that actually struggled last week. It was a lot closer than the final score indicated against Episcopal in the loss, but they only had 100-some yards of offense, did GA, against the Churchmen.
This is an offense that got off to a hot start, but after their quarterback Jordan Longino got hurt, they've struggled of late. Handoff on second down is a good pickup there.
Vance on the carry.
About 6 or 7 yards for Vance.
And number 7, Taiji.
And one of the important things about this GA team as they go up tempo will be their offensive line, and we'll talk about that as the game goes on.
It's 3rd and 2 now. 2 receivers to Brittingham's left. The Patriots were trying to hurry up the offense initially, but now they slow things down. Brittingham in shotgun. Takes the snap, fake handoff. Over the middle, and wide open is the tight end, Lillis, who is tackled at the 35-yard line. A huge gain on 3rd down.
Yeah, they were a little bit sold on the run there and just didn't get Lillis sneaking out there right up the middle. Nice pass by Brittingham, too, to find the open receiver.
Germantown moving now into Friars territory. Ball on Malvern's 35-yard line. Handoff Vance. He goes up the middle. Short gain there.
And Brittingham has been the quarterback for GA. We saw him pass 38-yard pass there moments ago. He's been a nice little boost for this squad that had Jordan Longino, the very talented sophomore who started playing quarterback his freshman year, had a little bit of experience, and a stud basketball player as well, and that was a tough loss that this team's had to deal with. Not sure if he's going to be back for basketball season, but Brittingham has stepped in and done a pretty decent job at quarterback, and obviously, as we know, that's what you have to have at the prep school level.
Yeah, tough loss with Longino, though. This team started out 5-0 with him at quarterback. They've been 1-2 since losing him. Handoff here on second down now. Goes for a decent gain there as Vance is tackled between the 31 and 32-yard line.
John Turley.
And this is a lot like the Penny game for the Malvern defense in terms of what they're facing on the offensive line. A lot of size for GA. They came in with players who had had at least 30 games of experience, their entire line for the most part, without injuries coming into the year, all right around 300 pounds. And Malvern's done a good job so far up front defensively.
Interesting look here as Snowden lines up at quarterback. And on the Wildcat formation, he's tackled at the 30-yard line, a couple yards short of the first down.
Gain of 1, 4th.
So it looks like the Patriots are going to go for it here. 4th down and 4 to go. Ball is on the 30-yard line.
They do have a decent kicker in Naminsky, and last week against Episcopal, GA actually decided to pass up a field goal opportunity on the 27-yard line and punt, and I think Coach Dan says learn from that motion.
It's going to be a handoff to Snowden. He goes up the middle, has the first down and more. Tackled by McGuire, but a good gain there.
Tackle made by number 7, Taiji Leach.
Patriots 2 for 2 on 3rd down conversion.
Keith McGuire. That carry is good for a Germantown first down.
So it was a 10-yard gain for Snowden. Ball is now on the 18-yard line of the Friars. It's going to be a pass towards the end zone, but a little bit too low. Lillis unable to come away with it.
Hans Lillis.
Brittingham had time there, Kevin, but was unable to fire it into the hands of Lillis.
Christian Bachrath, the junior out of Collegeville, one of the players on the coverage, he's been a nice surprise as well. We've started to call his name a whole lot more, and Cayman Hayes also helping out. That certainly helps too when your team has 17 interceptions on the season and Hayes has a good amount of them.
Hayes with 5 picks on the year. This is a Malvern Prep defense that forces a lot of turnovers, as you mentioned, Kevin. 2nd down, it's going to be a handoff. Vance going between his right tackle and guard. He picks up a few there. It'll be 3rd down and manageable.
Trey Vance on the carry. Tackle made by...
I did like what GA did a couple moments ago, is going to that play action, because early on it seems like they're establishing a rhythm of running the first couple downs and then throwing. So they got to continue to mix things up against this stingy Malvern defense. And as we've seen so far, they've been successful on 3rd downs. And that was, as we know, a point of emphasis this season for Coach David Guerrera and the Malvern Prep Friars, that 3rd down territory. So we'll see if they can batten down the hatches here on a crucial play.
Well, Germantown wants
timeout on the field.
3rd down and 5. As you mentioned, Kevin, this is a money down for the Friars, but the Patriots thus far 2 for 2 on 3rd down plays offensively, and this is an offense that has struggled their last 3 games out in the Interac, averaging just under 14 points a game since conference play has started.
Well, again, what we should mention is that 10-7 halftime score last week against the very good Episcopal Academy squad. I think Malvern fans saw how good the Churchmen were in the game here at Quigley Field. And it became an opportunity where they were able to drive the ball downfield, but they stalled in the red zone, did the Patriots. They got it all the way down to the 15. They couldn't put it in the end zone. I think that was tough. Dewell Barley of going to Villanova, they couldn't stop him. And I don't think we should fault the defense for that, as he had 2 touchdown runs in a 5-minute span in that 3rd quarter. So, again, 29-7 was the final score, but it was a 10-7 game. And as we talked about, Longino's absence certainly has had a little bit to do with the offensive sputtering.
Brittingham having a good first drive thus far, though. His pass complete, but no gain there. Might have lost a couple. Ball was caught by Tayshawn Mack. But good tackling there by Hussey to bring him down.
There's a loss of 1 on that play. Brings up 4th down.
A loss of 1, so that'll make it 4th and 6, and Germantown will send out the kicking unit. Kick is up, and it is good. So that was a 10-play drive for a field goal. Took 5 minutes and 14 seconds off the clock. A good start to this game for the Patriots.
That was a 30-yard field goal.
It's the 4th field goal of the season for Naminsky, and Coach had a lot of good things to say about him before the game.
3-0. The Malvern Prep community would
and
like to
so,
thank the Bill Maria cheerleaders,
nice start for GA, getting on the board first.
Here today and entertaining this crowd. Big round of applause for them today. Thank you.
So a 3-point lead for Germantown Academy. Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Footinger. Here at Quigley Field, it's senior day for the Friars. Malvern will get the ball on offense now for the first time here today.
Number 10, Lonnie White, and number 17, Cooper Frankenheimer.
So Germantown takes a 3-0 lead after a 10-play, 5-minute, 14-second drive.
Well, we've seen the Friars get scored on first a couple times here. And they've responded pretty well this season, I'd say. Handled adversity pretty well.
Well, this is an offense that's very tough to stop for Malvern, Kevin, averaging 38 points a game. They could do it in so many ways. A lot of passing options as a short kickoff fielded at the 35-yard line by number 48, Jake Brownlee. So good field position to start this drive for the Friars.
And so now we get to see Drew Gunther for the first time on the field. We've talked about many times this season getting looks from Brown, Fordham, Georgetown heading into the year, then Virginia Tech creeped into the conversation, preferred walk-on maybe, and some other schools, Albany thrown in there. He's letting his play do the talking this season, and it's been quite a good season so far.
Gunther on pace to throw for over 2,000 yards. His first pass is caught by number 14, Ryan Iacone, his favorite target this year. That's his 34th reception of the season.
Yeah, we touched on it in the GA game, too. It was tough to lose Iacone because they like to do a lot of the backfield action with him, work some jet sweeps a little bit. That was actually the play he got hurt on a couple weeks ago in the game against Petty, but he was able to come back a game or two later, and he's really been working right back into the offense.
2nd down and 6 now for the Friars. In motion goes Lonnie White, takes the handoff, but a flag flies. False start on the Friars.
False start for Malvern.
I hate to bring these things up because this is what Coach Guerrero told us before the season, Chris, but again, self-inflicted wounds. They want to limit that because that was their big problem last season. And then 3rd downs. Now Malvern really battened down the hatches defensively, 3rd down when it counted, but they allowed 2 3rd down conversions prior to that. So early on in this game, they're still working on some of those opportunities on senior day here, but we've seen them right the ship pretty quickly.
Right, we've seen this a couple times before, as you mentioned, Kevin, but they usually correct those flaws right away. 3 receivers to Gunther's right. He will hand off left to Quincy Watson, who is met close to the line of scrimmage. I don't think he got any gain there.
No gain on the play.
A nice tackle on that play by Jack Sheridan, one of the captains, the senior, the 6-foot senior, one of 13 seniors for GA. Watson, of course, coming off his 4th straight 100-yard rushing performance for Malvern Prep.
Watson came into today with an impressive 630 yards on 108 carries, but he's stuffed on his first attempt here today. Empty backfield now for the Friars. Gunther has time, lofts it over the middle. Pass is incomplete, intended for Watson. He had McGuire open, didn't see him, and that will bring up 4th down. The Friars are going to have to punt.
Good job defensively by Germantown Academy to start this game.
15, Sebastian Constantine.
We talked about the numbers, and you were mentioning their scoring numbers, but you still look at that 6-2 record on the season. They were one of the favorites coming in to battle along with Episcopal and also Malvern Prep for this Interac.
So a 3-and-out start for the Friars. They're going to have to punt to GA. It's a short punt fielded by Ruth, and Ruth is tackled by Tyler Tinson.
Tackle made by number 2.
So no yards on the return. Germantown will get the ball back. 4 minutes, 59 seconds to go in the first quarter. Already a 3-0 lead for the Patriots after a 10-play first drive.
Patriots take over on the 32-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Patriots.
Very impressive first drive, too. 8 runs and 3 passes. Good job of working the yardage and converting on 2 of 3 3rd downs for the Patriots on their first drive offensively.
It'll be our second look at the GA offense. It's a fake handoff. Going up the middle is Brittingham. Good gain there. Picks up 9 as he's tackled at the 41-yard line.
Tackle made by number 21, D'Angelo Stocker. Gain of 9 seconds.
Stocker made the tackle there, as you'll see at the end of the play, but Brittingham did a good job of using his wheels, and he hasn't carried the ball much this season, so a good job of getting him into space.
It'll be 2nd down and 1 now for Germantown. Might see them go to play action. They used it a couple times on their first drive. It was very effective. Instead, they hand off. No gain. A sea of defenders. But John Turley was the main man to bring down Vance.
Great job by Turley and a finish by Keith McGuire, who was at the top of that wave of defense.
No gain on the play.
Brittingham only 17 carries on the season again, so very nice run there. But now we're in that short yardage situation, and we'll see how Malvern's defensive front, we know they're very stout, handles this, or does GA go to the pass again like they did their first 3rd down attempt of this game?
Money down here for the Friars. GA has had some success early on 3rd down. Malvern shows blitz. Handoff, Vance spins, and he picks it up.
Vance goes up the middle.
Germantown Academy now 3 of 4 on 3rd down conversions.
Vance has been impressive, averaging 6 yards a carry this season. He's had some big games. Against Du Bois, had 109 yards. See the replay there as he goes strong off left tackle. He really worked for that one. Got some help from the offensive line up front. We talked about the big bodies, but again, Vance, great job of finding that little tiny gap to work through.
3 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the quarter. Handoff, this goes to Snowden. And short gain there.
Snowden on the carry. Gain of 2.
So it had been Vance, clearly, in the backfield, coming in with 880 yards. But Snowden, he's over 50 carries now on the season. He came in with 248, so they like to get a little bit of dose of him as well. He's got a little bit of speed to work with. Can be used as a weapon also in the passing game if they need to.
As you mentioned that, Snowden lines up at quarterback, likely in the Wildcat formation here. Vance on his right. Snowden going to run right. Has an angle towards the sideline, pushed out of bounds. But a good pickup there, setting up 3rd down and short.
He's forced out of bounds.
That was his 4th carry of the game so far. Nice job wide by Leach to make the tackle. We've seen him make a lot of saving tackles there on that outside. Good job of getting the angles. Nice blocks on the right side as well.
3rd and 3 for the Patriots.
It was a gain of 4 for Snowden. That sets up 3rd down and 3 now for Germantown Academy. 3rd down has been very friendly to this Patriot squad thus far. They've converted 3 of 4 of their attempts. Snowden takes a snap, but it's a fumble. Loose ball. Friars don't pick it up. It's still rolling, and now falling on it is Guerrera. A huge fumble, and the Friars have it in the red zone.
Well, we talked about the turnovers, and just like that, you can change the momentum of a game. Great job and great pursuit, and a great job of not trying to pick it up and run with it and just falling down on it. Again, poor snap, as you can see on the replay, Chris. It just continued to bounce out of his hands, and great pursuit by Guerrero.
Well, we were talking about it before the broadcast, Kevin. This is a Malvern defense that has 17 interceptions. We don't have the official number on fumbles, but it's just so difficult to beat a team when they're causing 2 or 3 turnovers a game. So now the Friars will have it. Ball got marked back on the 24-yard line of GA. Gunther going to hand off. Watson powering up the middle. 1st down and more.
His offensive line. Gain of 12 yards.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the GA offensive line, and we will continue to do that throughout the broadcast, but how about the Malvern Prep offensive line? You've got a stud on that left side where Quincy was headed toward. You've got Redden, you've got Hornibrook who's going to Stanford.
From the 13-yard line.
Watson just credits his line, it seems like, after every game. He said you could drive a bus through the holes that they're making.
Watson heading to Delaware next year. This 1st down pass complete to Iacone. Got a block. Still on his feet. Maybe got a yard.
Number 14,
Chris, we've seen them get Iacone involved in a lot of different ways. Early in the season, you saw a lot of wheel routes. beat a lot of men in space, and they also like to use him on the edges in the screen game. So very shifty and tough to account for him there, and good pickup of a couple of yards.
Ball marked on the 10-yard line, so they gave him forward progression. It's 2nd down and 7. Gunther, handoff Watson up the middle, but taken down. A nice tackle there by Elijah Roten, the 6'4", 300-pound senior who will be going to Duke next year.
3rd and 4.
He's definitely that guy to watch. He's on the left side of the offensive line, the left tackle. He's been moved around the line a lot, but defensively he's also very solid.
Ball on the 7-yard line now of GA. It's 3rd down and 4. It's an empty backfield for Gunther. In motion, Watson takes the handoff. It's a jet sweep, but swallowed up in the backfield. A big loss there.
Loss of 1.
And that is going to set up 4th down and 5.
Good job by Timmy Ruth on the edge. He just stood there, held the angle because he knew where Watson was going, didn't have to go anywhere to over pursue, and a great job by running that down.
And that is the
Clock's going to run out.
With the Patriots on top.
So through 1 quarter, it's a 3-0 lead for Germantown Academy. We're going to take a break, but you're watching SFBN's presentation of Malvern Prep football.
Welcome to Granite Run Buick GMC. Here's what some of our customers have to say.
There's more of a family atmosphere here.
Thank you, Granite Run.
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 If you're in the market for a new car or truck, do what I did. Go see my friend Ryan Irish and his team at Granite Run Buick GMC. These guys are the best.
And that's why we welcome you to Granite Run.
Visit us in person or online at graniterun.com.
Welcome back to Quigley Field. Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Footinger. It's the start of the 2nd quarter. Friars trail GA 3-0. It's 4th down and 5 for Malvern. They're in field goal range, but it looks like they're going to go for it here, Kevin.
Well, you have that much time to think about it. Why not? Coach Guerrero feels very confident in his team in the red zone.
Gunther in shotgun. Watson on his right. Fake handoff. Pass batted away. Intended for Lonnie White. But Jake Shue breaks it up.
Down by number 22, Jacob Sue.
It looks like Gunther had the target he wanted, was calling for the pass, was Lonnie White in the end zone, and did not see Shue at all jumping through and putting that hand there. Great job of jumping the route because, boy, he looked like White was wide open in the end zone, and he certainly thought he was.
So it's a wasted opportunity for the Friars, who got the ball on the GA 24-yard line after a fumble, but they're unable to get any points out of it. GA now, first play of this drive, handoff. Not much of a gain there. That'll bring up 2nd down and long.
And the one thing you can say is it's still early in the game to make a decision like that, and you trust your offense. You might as well trust your offense. The guy's got 18 and more touchdowns than Drew Gunther, the quarterback. But, again, you also have a pretty solid and reliable kicker, so we'll see how that decision plays out. And the other thing is, if you do turn it over on downs, you've got a defense that has been playing well all year, and you're giving GA tough field position to work at it.
GA on their own 10-yard line. This is a handoff Vance. He goes left, but taken down near the line of scrimmage.
Tackle made by number 26, Nick Guerrero.
Guerrero bringing him down. This will set up third down
of 2
and 6.
3rd and 6.
15 runs to just 3 passes so far for GA, but again, those passes have come at pretty critical times. They've been able to get third down conversion with one of those, so we'll see if they slide one in here.
Money down for the Friars. GA has converted 3 times on third down. Make that 4. Completion on the far sideline to Jerry Griffin Batchelor.
Correction, number 9, Jerry Griffin Batchelor.
Batchelor came in today as the lead receiver for GA. He has a big catch there to pick up the first down.
You see playing a little bit off on the outside corners. Great route run by Batchelor to get out of bounds and get the first down. 4 out of 5 on third down are the Patriots.
Far sideline again. Batchelor with another catch. Has it close to the first down marker.
To number 9.
That was Hayes with the tackle on the far side.
We'll see where they mark him. And based on the spot, that looks like a first down.
Gain of 10.
They'll give it to him.
For a Patriot first down.
So back-to-back first down catches for Batchelor.
Or Bachrath, excuse me. Bachrath has been very active so far in the tackling department so far today.
A lot of life from this GA offense early on. Handoff to Vance. Stays on his feet, powering forward. A strong run there from Vance.
On the carry.
Making something out of nothing. He picks up 9 yards.
2nd and 1.
GA in the hurry-up.
I like what they're doing, though. They're hurrying up to the line, and if they see something they like or they see the defense out of position, they'll likely run that play. But we've seen them usually just hurry up to the line so they're ready and then look over to the sideline and take a little time to get that play call in.
2nd down and 1. Handoff Vance. He goes up the middle. Nice blocks initially, and he spills out across the 50-yard line. Another first down for Germantown Academy.
D'Angelo Stocker and number 7, Tajee Leach. That carry was good for another Patriot first down.
Ball on the 47-yard line of Malvern. I know Quincy Watson talks about how it's like having holes to run an entire truck through, but that's what this GA offensive line has been like today. Meanwhile, Rottingham going to run. He slides near the first down marker. He might have gotten it. Depends on the spot. It's going to be close.
Nice run for Brittingham. His 2nd run of 8 yards or more in this game. Yeah, he looks like about maybe a yard or a couple inches short for GA. I'm going to have to do a better job of taking a look here, Chris, at why the Patriots are getting so many yards on some of these runs. And a lot of it has obviously been because of great blocking from that experienced offensive line.
2nd
down and inches now for GA. Vance going straight up the middle.
Vance goes up the middle, tackle made by number 37.
Actually, that was Snowden, correction. Snowden goes up the middle for the first down. So the running game of GA continuing to cut holes into the Malvern Prep defense. Ball now on the 33-yard line of Malvern. Handoff right. Snowden.
Snowden on the carry. Tackle made by number 55.
Short gain there.
Harry Stinger and number 58.
Brought down by Harry Stinger.
John Turley was there as well.
Of 1, 2nd
but
and 9.
Clearly the run-pass distribution has been heavily in favor of the run early on for GA. Malvern knows it's coming. They did a good job of winning the battle in the trenches. That's going to be important the rest of this game. Up front, those big guys against what was considered maybe an undersized unit coming into the season, but they worked very hard up front.
Handoff now, Snowden. Flag flies.
Snowden on the carry. Tackle made by Keith
Short
McGuire,
game, but I got a feeling this one's coming back.
Yeah, I'd assume that's the first penalty we'll see on the Patriots here on the outside. Nice job of fighting through the block.
And it is a holding call against GA. This will move back their offense.
That's got to hurt when you're a team that's, churning your way down the field. You were 4 of 5 from third down to start things off, and now it backs you up a little bit. They're averaging around 6-7 yards a pop over the last couple of carries, though, which has got to be something that the GA fans on the far side are pretty excited about.
Well, just in terms of ball control, Kevin, they've had possession of the football for all but 4 minutes of the first half thus far.
They've had 19 rushing plays so far, too. Barley was quoted in an article, the running back for Episcopal, and he said, we just didn't have the ball in the first half last week, and that game that was 10-7 at half, GA only trailed by 3 against the Churchmen. So it's a great strategy, too, against a quarterback like Gunther to keep him off the field.
After the holding penalty, the ball spotted on the 42-yard line of Malvern. GA goes with the handoff up the middle.
Vance goes up the middle, tackle made
with
by
a couple of yards there.
Keith McGuire, gain of 4.
A 4-yard gain marks the ball on the 38.
And 15.
So that brings up 3rd down and 15 for GA.
Safe to say this is the toughest 3rd down conversion that they've had to deal with so far, but Malvern's got to get a stop here. You can't continue to concede the momentum on a team that is 4 of 5 from 3rd down.
GA goes with 3 receivers to the left. Rottingham with time, going to fire over the middle. It's complete. That was number 9, Jerry Griffin Batchelor with the catch. An 8-yard gain. GA is leaving their offense on the field for now. They might go for it here.
A great block by Vance to almost spring what could have been a first down, but John Turley, who came from his defensive line position after dropping back there, did a great job in pursuit and had a little help from Ryan Iacone on that tackle.
GA leaves their offense on the field. They're going to go for it. 6:25 to go, and we're going to have a false start. That's going to be a false start on Jerry Griffin Batchelor.
There is a flag on the play.
He started his route before the ball was snapped. This is going to move GA back 5 yards.
When do we start playing Arena League football, Chris? Get that running start before the snap. That's a tough one there. And that's their 2nd penalty so far of the game, and both on this drive, both actually in this series of downs.
They're still going to go for it. 4th and 12 now for GA. Clock running, 6:07 to go in the half. Rottingham has time. Staying on his feet, somehow gets it away to prevent the sack. But that was Demir Brown with the rush. And the Friars force a turnover on downs.
A lot of credit to Demir Brown. We've called his name a lot this season, too, one of the seniors. And you'll see he's working on the left side of that line defensively, and unfortunately didn't get the wrap-up, but he got what he needed. He got the jersey. And Brittingham did a good job of spinning and finding a receiver to avoid the grounding penalty. And now Malvern's got it back on offense. And if you're just joining us, Malvern had it the first time, drove all the way into the red zone, Chris. Decided not to go for the field goal opportunity, and the pass was batted down on 4th down in what looked like an open receiver on a great play by Jack Shue. So Malvern did drive it well on their first possession.
Malvern will have it to start on their 3rd possession here. Ball on the 35-yard line, handoff to Watson, but he is met in the backfield, loss of 1.
There is a flag on the play.
Flag on the play, so hold everything.
It was a 3 and out on their first possession for Malvern. GA did a great job defensively, and then Drew Gunther was able to settle in a little bit and got a little help from Quincy Watson, too. Watson has been a very pleasant addition, I should say, to this lineup, because obviously he couldn't play in the matchups against PIAA schools, being that 5th-year player, which was a little tough, but Nick Guerrera, Keith McGuire did a good job of shouldering the load, and then Watson came right back in, 100 yards it seemed like every single game. And even the game that we were impressed with that he didn't necessarily have an outstanding rushing performance, the Petty game, he had that one run to set up the final touchdown. So he's been a very key part of this team.
Watson has done a great job in the backfield. He was the lead receiver for this squad in his junior season, but has transitioned into the halfback spot and has excelled. Handoff to him, but he loses a yard here.
Watson goes up the middle.
Ball now on the 48 of Malvern Prep. They picked up 15 yards, by the way, Kevin, as we were talking, because of a face mask penalty.
Donovan Ganges with the tackle for a loss. That's the third rush for a loss that Watson has had on 5 carries today. So second down and long for the Friars, who are 0 for 1 on third today.
Gunther with 3 receivers to his right. He's got Watson in the backfield, Lonnie White to his left. GA shows blitz. Now it's going to be a handoff to Watson. Picks up a couple.
Watson on the
tackled at the 49-yard line of GA. Short gain for Watson.
Shane Harkins, gain of 5.
And we were talking about balance on the Patriots side and how it was heavily weighted toward the run, but Malvern's done a good job of mixing things up from run and pass, averaging 30-plus points per game. But Gunther's only completed 2 passes of 3 thrown today, so we'll see if they go to the air again.
3rd down and 7 for the Friars. Looks like they are going to the air, Kevin. Gunther with plenty of time. He fires, and it's complete. Pass is caught by Mike Hussey.
Gunther's pass complete to number 25.
He's tackled inside the 15-yard line. A huge 3rd down pickup.
Gain of 35 yards on the play.
35-yard gain.
The Friars
and the Friars are marching.
Distance. 1st and 10 for the Friars.
Ball is now marked on the 13-yard line of GA.
Hussey's 4th catch of the season, but he always seems to come up with big plays whenever he touches the football.
And now a handoff to Guerrera. He powers left, has the angle, and dives for the pylon. He's in for the score. Nicholas Guerrera, the senior, with a touchdown.
There's Guerrera, the leading rusher the first couple weeks of the season, had 5 touchdowns over the first 3 weeks, and a nice change of pace play. And a great job of getting right up to the line, not waiting around. They knew what they were going to do and put it into the end zone for the 13-yard touchdown run.
Attempting the extra point.
For the Friars, it was a 5-play drive that went 65 yards. They took 2 minutes, 13 seconds off the clock. Constantini's kick is up. It's good, so a 7-3 lead for Malvern.
Back on top with 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the second quarter. 7-3.
And Guerrera just took it off left side. Oh, a crushing block as well. Got a lot of help there to spring his way, and then he was able to do the rest. Nice job up front by Malvern Prep there on that defense or the offensive line to win the battle. And we talked about that being the story coming in, Chris. They had to win the battle in the trenches. Very tough physical players, outsized at some positions on the line, but a great job there of taking advantage of the momentum and taking their first lead of the game, 7-3.
Interesting to note, too, Kevin, GA's had the ball for most of this game. You know, the running attack has kept the ball moving on the ground. They've picked up a lot of first downs, taken a lot of time off the clock. I think that was the strategy coming into today, knowing that Malvern's offense is so explosive. But so far, they trail by 4, despite the fact they've had the ball for probably 2/3 of the possession time in the first half.
Well, that was the strategy last week, I would imagine, against Episcopal, is keeping the Churchmen off the field. And so far, GA's done a good job. But Malvern succeeded. Not the first time they were in the red zone, but that time that they made the Patriots pay, and Guerrera's got his 6th touchdown of the season on the ground. Great job of coming in there and finishing it off.
Malvern in the first half has run 13 plays. GA's run 27, but Malvern has the lead.
And you mentioned it before, Costantini was about to boot it away. Got that preferred walk-on offer, accepted it to go to Penn State. Penn State had 2 freshman kickers coming into the season. That was a situation that was up in the air. We wish Seb the best of luck as he moves forward, but certainly a job he might be able to capture, at least be in competition for, and that preferred status is, sorry, we can't give you a scholarship, but you are guaranteed a spot on the team, so that's basically what that means.
Constantini, as you were mentioning him, kicks it away. Ruth and Snowden to return. Ruth takes it off a bounce. Nice return here. Still on his feet. Pushed out of bounds, and now a penalty flag flies. He was pushed out at the 42-yard line, but he might have more as the yellow is on the field.
For those of you keeping stats, that was a 32-yard return.
It's a 32-yard return for Ruth. Waiting to see what the penalty call is.
It looks like it was a personal foul. They're going to probably call late hit.
So 33 yards on the return for Ruth, and a late hit tacks on an extra 15.
And a nice job initially. It was bouncing off the ground. Great control, too, to work to that left side and shake out of at least 2 tackles there. And then a big hit delivered on that far sideline.
Patriots ball. First and
So the
10
Patriots will have it
42-yard line.
in prime real estate, ball on the 42-yard line of Malvern. Screen pass. And a nice gain there for Griffin Batchelor. Tackled at around the 35-yard line of Malvern.
His 4th catch of the day today.
Reception. Gain of 8 seconds.
It's an 8-yard gain
2.
for Griffin Batchelor. Sets up 2nd and 2. Ball marked on the 34-yard line of Malvern. 3 receptions now for Griffin Batchelor. This is a handoff up the middle for Vance.
Vance goes up the middle.
Good gain there. Tackled by the 25-yard line of Malvern Prep. Michael Hussey brought him down to the ground.
Gain of 6. First and 10 for the Patriots.
First and 10 now for the Patriots. .242 to go in the half. It's going to be a pass, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Leach. Leach on the close sideline. Pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line, and it was only a matter of time before the Friars had an interception.
And Brittingham just didn't see him at all. And Leach has done a great job with his 3rd interception of the season right there. He was just standing there, and you'll just see him pop into the screen. Right there. There he was. The whole time reading the route. Looked like he had a touchdown maybe if he went farther, looking for Timmy Ruth to that back corner, but I think Leach was in position for that as well. And I think Leach just did a good job of seeing that pass was going to be very short and stepped in front and made a huge play to try to continue to put the pedal down, give it back to the offense.
Tyji Leach, another talented senior for Malvern. He'll be playing at Lehigh next year. Meanwhile, the offense now for the Friars, empty backfield. Gunther has time. Gonna launch it over the middle for Leach. Off the hands. So he went right back to him after the big interception. Trying to throw salt in the wound, but Leach couldn't come away with it.
A guy that was averaging almost like 50 yards a catch the first couple of weeks of the season. That guy had just a great motor and trying to give him some scoring props, but he couldn't finish it off. We may see that again.
We might. I think Leach was just a little bit out of gas after the pickoff and return. He just missed coming away.
Yeah,
that's
with that asking a lot of him there to continue.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 now. Ball on the 41. Screen pass for White, but GA reads it well. Nice tackle there by number 25, Don Ganges.
Donovan Ganges, 5'6", 175. He fought through any blocks that were there. It almost looked like White stumbled in the setup, and a great job by Ganges of staying home. Only a 1-yard gain.
So a yard pickup for White. It brings up 3rd down and 9. Ball on the 42 of Malvern. Gunther, empty backfield. He has time. Over the middle for McGuire. Broken up. 3 defenders in the area for the Patriots.
I wonder if that got caught in the wind, too. And McGuire almost had to shift to a defensive back. He has no problem playing defense, and a great job of trying to get a hand in there and tip it down and avoid any possible interception. Good hold for the Germantown Academy Patriots. They had about 3 white shirts in the area.
So it's a 3-and-out for the Friars. Got just 1 yard. Constantini to send it away. Ruth underneath it. Short return.
Lacey Ruth
And he's tackled short of the 25-yard line.
Nice job by Carlini of getting downfield and making the stop there, the first man there. We've seen him make a number of plays on special teams. He also made that big hit earlier on the sideline, so a lot of names that we've called outside of the quote-unquote stars, the big program guys, and really that's what has made this team successful. You've got those 22 seniors, and a lot of those big-time players are seeing the field. And there's some younger guys in there that we've mentioned, their names, and we'll continue to do so throughout the broadcast. A guy like Bachrath, who's had a number of tackles too on D.
First pass of this drive, deflected and nearly intercepted. Brittingham can catch his breath after that one. That'll set up second down and 10. But back to the seniors for a moment, Kevin. As you mentioned, 22 of them. There's a lot of these players who have made explosive plays throughout the year. It's hard to highlight 22 different players throughout the season. But what Coach Guerrero told us at the beginning of the year is this team will go where our senior leaders will take us, and that's a big reason why they're 9-0, ranked 4th in the state by Max Preps.
Really embracing that brotherhood, that Friar brotherhood, as they said, coming into the season.
Handoff now to Vance.
Vance goes up the middle.
Short gain there.
Gain of 1.
Picks up a yard. That'll set up third down and 9.
Out on the field.
Unofficially, 16 carries for 76 yards for Vance. It's been a tough day throwing for both quarterbacks so far. Brittingham 6 of 10 for 76 yards, and Gunther's 3 of 9 today. When have we said that Gunther's 3 of 9? Maybe the Wildwood game where the winds were, 15+ miles an hour, where that was tough to throw. But a great job by Germantown Academy of reading some of these plays, and of course you had that Leach misstep there. Malvern still, though, you take a look at the scoreboard, up 7-3, and the time of possession, as they say. What do they say about time of possession? Doesn't really matter, right?
Well,
not in this game.
It starts to take an effect if you have a touchdown or 2 lead, and the opposing team's defense has been out on the clock that time, but the turnover on the fumble, so you come away with 3 points after 22 plays and 12 minutes almost of offense.
And they were very efficient as well between the 20s. They started off 4 of 6 on third down as well, but when they've gotten in the red zone, there's been some issues.
So third down and 9 now for the Patriots. Ball on their own 25. Malvern called a timeout trying to preserve the clock. Fumble here. Vance falls on it to prevent a turnover. It's a 4-yard loss, and this is going to force GA to punt. Malvern will use another timeout. Clock is stopped with 1:15 to go, so the Friars will have 1 timeout and 75 seconds to get the ball into scoring position.
Back to return.
One thing that the Patriots have done is they've improved their rush defense for sure this week. Last week, they allowed 312 rush yards to Episcopal Academy, and the Churchman never punted. And the read option was giving GA a lot of problems. And as we know, that zone read or RPO is something that Malvern executes a lot as well. And passing-wise, the secondary's done a decent job. We haven't seen a ton of runs from Malvern, but we did see that 13-yard touchdown. A lot of those runs on the outside. So defensively, you've got to like what you're doing if you're the Patriots, but as we talked about, it's the offense that's been a little bit of an issue, and you got to credit Malvern's D for that as well.
Right, this is an offense for GA, Kevin, that they've moved the ball well. It's just they haven't capitalized once they've got into those red zone situations. Malvern has had one big play all day long. It was the 33-yard catch by Hussey on third down on their scoring drive. That's really been it for this explosive Friars offense. Lonnie White back to receive the punt. It's sent away by Connell Sweeney. White has it at the 35. Makes a couple of moves, and he is tackled at the Malvern Prep 42. 1 minute and 4 seconds to go in the half. The Friars have 1 timeout.
Now the wind is blowing out of the north-northwest of the left corner of the field as the Malvern offense will see it at about 10 miles an hour. So that is something they've had to contend with a little bit so far in this game. But we've seen Malvern score in 1 minute or less many times this season. So GA's got to be very, very solid fundamentally and try not to get beat on the outside. A lot of speed on the outside for the Friars.
Empty backfield for Malvern. 3 receivers to Gunther's right, 2 to his left. He takes the snap. Has time over the middle. Pass is complete to McGuire. Still on his feet, taking 3, now 4 defenders with him as he's tackled at the 33 of GA. 28-yard pickup for McGuire. Clock stops as the chains are moved. Now it runs. 52 seconds and counting. Gunther has time. Gonna lob it for the end zone. Leach catches this one for a score. Taiji Leach is in. And it's a 13-3 lead for the Friars.
Oh, Gunther's what, 3 of 9? Then all of a sudden just 2 nice passes down the field. That first one to McGuire, boy, what a tight window, fitted in there nicely. And then Leach got the inside position on the D-back. And once he did that, he wasn't dropping it.
So, with the wind blowing into his face, Gunther completes a 28-yard pass on first down and then a 33-yard touchdown on his second throw of the drive. The Friars quickly go 51 yards. Extra point is up, and it's good. 14-3 lead now for the Friars.
14-3.
Chris, were you the one that called him Keith the Beast McGuire? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many people can Keith drag and how many yards? Look at that. That was about 5 yards, 3 defenders. Great job by Keith McGuire there to get separation, and great throw by Drew Gunther. And then again, this was just the one-on-one matchup. Once you let that defender get inside on you, or sorry, that receiver get inside on you, you're in trouble, and that's exactly what happened with Leach. A similar play to the one they ran a couple series ago that was incomplete, and a great job of getting into the end zone on 2 quick plays. And that was part of the strategy, Chris, trying to keep the quarterback Gunther off the field as much as you could by continuing to control the clock, but Gunther made GA pay there, and all of a sudden he's up to 5 for 11 for right around 100 yards and that touchdown pass.
It was a 2-play, 58-yard drive for the Friars. Kevin, took just 22 seconds. It's now a 14-3 lead for the Friars. Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Footinger. Malvern trying to improve to 10-0, stay undefeated, and give themselves a chance to be the first team in program history, Kevin, to have an 11-0 season.
And the Friars deferred as well to open the game, so that's also something to watch. As Coach Guerrero's done a pretty good job with his halftime adjustments as well this season. So what, it's around 204 yards now that Gunther needs passing to tie Alex Hornibrook's single-season passing record.
Seeing how Gunther's played this year, he could get that in 1 half. It's a squib kick on the kickoff. Ball is taken to the 42-yard line by Connell Sweeney. So decent field position for GA. 35 seconds remaining in the half.
Got 2 timeouts, so again, you don't necessarily have to go through the air the entire time.
42-yard line.
The ground game has been working, but we'll see what the coach decides to do here. You definitely want to use those timeouts too if you're going to go for it.
Well, they're going to hand off to Vance, and he is met at the line of scrimmage. No gain. You got to burn a timeout here.
Nice job by Demir Brown, too, closing up any hole that was there. Harry Stinger jumped in late as well. But I don't blame him because Vance has done a good job carrying. He's averaging 8-9 yards a carry on certain drives, but looks like GA may be content to just run it here after that.
And that looks to be the case. Clock running, less than 8 seconds to go. GA might run one more play. Handoff Vance, goes up the middle, picks up 5, and that will take us to halftime. The Friars got off to a slow start, but they have a 14-3 lead. We're going to take a break. You're watching SFBN's presentation of Malvern Prep football.
Welcome to Granite Run Buick GMC. Here's what some of our customers have to say.
It's more of a family atmosphere here.
Thank you, Granite Run.
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 If you're in the market for a new car or truck, do what I did. Go see my friend Ryan Irish and his team at Granite Run Buick GMC. These guys are the best.
And that's why we welcome you to Granite Run.
Visit us in person or online at graniterun.com.
Welcome back to Quigley Field on the campus of Malvern Prep. Alongside Kevin Fotinger, I'm Chris Markowitz. Kevin, a 14-3 lead for the Friars at halftime. They got off to a slow start offensively, but their defense made some big plays to keep them in this game.
Yeah, I think the story of the game, and both turnovers didn't necessarily lead to points, but you have that long fumble recovery as you'll get to the replays, and then the Taji Leach interception did a good job of securing the momentum and getting Gunther back in the saddle to throw a touchdown pass there toward the end of the half.
Well, there was the fumble recovery by Guerrera on your screen. That stalled a GA drive where it looked like they were moving to score and double their lead. After that, the Friars started moving the ball, but they were stopped on fourth down. They were unable to convert, trying to go for the end zone. Gunther's pass was broken up, so GA held their 3-0 lead. GA then went on a long 12-play, 5-minute, 58-second drive. Ended up scoreless, however, because the Friars were able to stop them here on this fourth down play after a penalty moved GA back. Incomplete pass. A nice pass rush there by Demir Brown to stall the Patriots' offense. Then Malvern Prep's offense got things going. Nicholas Guerrera with the first touchdown of the game. He took a handoff left and dove for the pylon, stretched out, got into the end zone. It was a 7-3 lead for the Friars. And then Malvern, a few moments later, with 1 minute and 4 seconds to go, one timeout, Gunther on the first play of the drive fired it deep over the middle for McGuire, who carried 3, then 4 defenders on his back for a 28-yard gain. And then after that, second play of the drive, Taji Leach got open on a go route. Gunther hit him in stride, and the Friars doubled their lead. So a 14-3 lead for the Friars. And Kevin, one last note before we send it back to break. GA had the ball for 35 plays and 15.5 minutes. Malvern had the ball for 16 plays and just about 8.5 minutes. Despite the fact that Malvern had the ball for half the time, they have an 11-point lead.
Yeah, and that's what you can do when you're that quick strike type offense that the Friars are. I know there was a point that you wanted to make with all that said in terms of time of possession, but I think this game's very well in reach for the Patriots. It's 14-3. It's not out of hand as of yet, and they obviously don't want it to get it so like it was last week all of a sudden when Dewell Barley jumped out to a couple of touchdown runs for Episcopal. And so it'll be interesting to see what kind of halftime adjustments are made because the Patriots were moving the ball pretty well between the 20s. They're able to churn out yards in the ground game, as we'll get to some unofficial stats coming up here on the broadcast. But Malvern, I think, did a very good job of settling down and almost adjusting within the half. Toward the end of that half, they finally got the offense going the way it has been going this season. And if it continues that way in the second half, look out for Germantown Academy.
It's a 14-3 lead for the Friars. We're going to take another break, but when we come back, I'll have head coach Nick Guerrera of the Malvern Prep Friars.
Welcome to Granite Run Buick GMC. Here's what some of our customers have to say.
It's more of a family atmosphere here.
Thank you, Granite Run.
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 If you're in the market for a new car or truck, do what I did. Go see my friend Ryan Irish and his team at Granite Run Buick GMC. These guys are the best.
And that's why we welcome you to Granite Run.
Visit us in person or online at graniterun.com.
Welcome back to the Pellegrini Athletic Complex. 58 degrees, a nice fall day in Malvern, Pennsylvania. Winds out of the north-northwest at about 10 miles per hour. We're still at halftime. A couple minutes away from the start of the second half. Friars lead 14-3 over Germantown Academy. We've got Chris Markowitz standing by with Coach Dave Guerrera of Malvern Prep. Chris?
Thank you, Kevin. Coach, in the first half, GA moved the ball well effectively on a couple drives, but your defense was able to stop them once they got it in or near the red zone. What did you like from your defense being able to clamp down late in drives?
I think we've had that mindset this year, bend, don't break, and especially the first couple drives when we're kind of getting everything figured out. But give GA credit. They're big and they're very physical and they got a good run scheme.
It was a start in the first half for your offense with 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. What adjustments to get things going offensively?
I think we just had to kind of our sea legs today. A lot of emotion with senior day and what have you. But starting to kind of click into gear right now.
Coach, thank you. Kevin, back to you guys.
Thanks, Chris. As we continue on about 26 seconds or so from the start of the second half, we'll come back in just a moment and bring half number 2 of this Interact matchup between Malvern Prep and Germantown Academy on SFBN. Take a look at some of the halftime numbers here as we get started for the second half. As we will tell you that they are unofficial numbers as well. For Malvern Prep, Drew Gunther, 5 of 11 for around 100 yards and 1 touchdown. That pass to Leach. Rushing-wise, the Friars, 7 carries for 25 yards. That's about 3.5 yards per carry. Quincy Watson, 6 for 12. David Guerrera's nephew, we should say, Nick Guerrera, 1 carry for 13 yards and a touchdown. Receiving-wise, Ryan Iacone, 2 catches for 7 yards. Mike Hussey, 1 catch for 35 yards. Lonnie White, 1 catch for 1 yard. 1 reception for Keith McGuire that came toward the end of the half for 28 yards, and Taji Leach, a 29-yard catch for a touchdown. For Germantown Academy, the unofficial numbers as follows. Brittingham is 6 of 10 passing for 76 yards and an interception. The Patriots have run the ball 27 times for 118 yards in the game. Brittingham himself, 3 carries for 12 yards. Snowden, 5 touches for 26. And unofficially Vance, 19 carries for around 80 yards. Receiving-wise for the Patriots, Mack, 1 for -1. And Griffin Batchelor, the leading receiver so far for the Patriots, 4 catches for 39 yards. And then Lillis has 1 catch for 38 yards. Those are the receivers so far. That's Hans Lillis with the catch, who he had early in the first half. As Chris, you are now back in the booth. Our mic cut out a little bit on us on your second question with Coach Dave Guerrera. What was the answer? What was he basically saying there on how he's going to look forward to the second half?
Right, Coach Guerrera said, offense got off to a slow start. But what he thinks it was is a lot of emotion here on senior day. Got off. Really, the team wasn't as focused as they could be because of a lot of the emotions, but he is confident that they're going to turn things up in the second half.
Earlier this season, our quarterback Drew Gunther eclipsed Malvern's football all-time passing yards and passing touchdown records.
I'm not sure if they can hear Mr. Iacone there, but they're giving Gunther credit right now for passing the records. As you mentioned earlier, the all-time passing yards and touchdown records. He still has his sights set on that single-season record, but Alex Hornibrook's records have been surpassed by a guy who's thrown for over 4,000 yards, Drew Gunther.
Yeah, Drew Gunther in his senior season has a chance to break almost every record in the book for passers, and it's just being announced now that he has the best record as a starting quarterback in program history. Not too shabby for a very storied program.
Started halfway through his sophomore season and has put together a number of touchdown passing games. As we talked about before, he has 50 plus touchdowns on the season, and he now has 13 straight games with a touchdown pass here after throwing one today to Taji Leach.
And he's looked good, particularly in the second quarter, Kevin. They got things going. 2 big plays down the field, one to McGuire, and then the touchdown to Leach. after struggling most of the way. What's interesting to note, too, the wind is blowing left to right on your screen. Both of those deep passes were thrown directly into the wind. Gunther unfazed. And it's a pretty strong wind, moving about 15 to 20 miles an hour left to right. Very similar to what we saw in the first game of the season against Roman Catholic.
Yeah, it hasn't really changed direction. Pretty much still from north-northwest, so basically diagonal across the field from that left corner down. And so if you're moving right to left, as we're seeing it right now, you're heading into the wind. And that's what Malvern was dealing with early on in that game. So we go to the second half. We talked about Malvern deferring, and we'll see how Germantown Academy adjusts here after their defense is starting to feel a little bit of pressure following Gunther's long passes, and we'll see how they are able to handle it. The Patriots, with the exception of that 13-yard touchdown run by Nick Guerrera, have done a pretty good job against the run game here. So again, we'll see how the second half transpires, but you got to feel good if you're Malvern, if you're getting the ball first.
Yeah, you certainly do, especially with how your offense looked on their last couple of possessions in that second quarter. Malvern, as you mentioned, Kevin, before we went to the half, they deferred, so they'll have the chance, after going on a 14-0 run in the second quarter, to receive the ball here. They've got Lonnie White alongside D'Angelo Stocker to take this kick back.
And ball security's got to be a point of emphasis as well for the Patriots. It's GA -2 on the turnover margin. They had that long fumble that Malvern turned into points, and then the interception, of course, by Taji Leach late in the second quarter.
Naminsky to kick it away for GA. Short kick. And tackled at the 42-yard line of Malvern is Billy Carlini.
With the reception.
Making tackles on special teams, receiving kickoffs, special teams. Said his name a lot today, of course. And this is pretty decent starting field position for Malvern Prep. It was tough on the kickoff there because, as you saw, they couldn't use the tee with the wind knocking it off, so they had to get the holder out there. So short kick and favorable field position for the offense to operate from.
Gunther leading the squad back out onto the field. Guerrera in the backfield. Watson not out there. Gunther with a touchdown pass in the closing moments of the first half to Taji Leach. First play of the second half is a sweep to Lonnie White. He has the edge and tackled near the 50-yard line.
Gain of 7.
7-yard run for White. That sets up second down and 3.
Correction.
6th carry of the season. Haven't used him a lot out of the backfield, even though he's got that capability for that 4.5 40 speed. He's been very good on the edges and as a receiver. And as you mentioned a couple times, a couple snaps out of the Wildcat as well.
Lonnie White might have a future as a quarterback here with the Malvern Prep Friar program. Obviously, we'll have to wait till next season to see if that's the case, as Watson extending forward might have gotten the first down. It depends on where the spot is, but it'll be close.
That was all Quincy Watson there, spinning out of a tackle. Nice job of staying on his feet and keeping his balance. We've talked about it before. He's his own brand of thunder and lightning. Usually you have those complementary backs, but good job of Watson. He's able to find the holes and get the tough yards, but then when you get him into space, he can make you pay.
So they give Watson the first down. Malvern now in GA territory. Gunther, fake handoff. He hits his man Carlini, who is hit hard on the far sideline. Ball is marked at the 40-yard line of GA. Brings up second down.
Gain of 7. 2nd and 3.
Carlini's first catch of the season, and maybe a face mask on the far side. The only thing I can say is the official had a better view of it than we did, and maybe he got a piece of the jersey, but that looked violent at the end there.
Yeah, tough for us to see, though, Kevin. We're about 100 yards away from that play, unfortunately. On 2nd and 3 now for the Friars. It's a screen pass complete to Ryan McGuire. First down and more.
McGuire with the reception from Gunther.
McGuire, the younger brother of Keith.
And now the depth of this team is just starting to show, because now all these other guys are starting to get involved, and Gunther doing a great job of spreading it around.
Well, here it is on the replay, the screen pass, and now live action. It's a screen to Iacone. Iacone first down and more as he high steps out across the 20-yard line, out of bounds with a first down.
I just go back to the Episcopal game and what the coach had said about Malvern. Is what they go 6 deep at wide receiver. And most of these teams don't even do that because they have some of these receivers don't even play on the defensive side of the ball, don't even play two ways. And luxury to have for sure if you're Malvern Prep.
First down and 10, ball on the GA 19. Gunther hands it off. Watson up the middle. Big gain there for Quincy.
And you might have noticed, but Malvern Prep picking up the tempo here, getting right back up to the line.
They've run 6 plays in just under 2 minutes.
We're starting to get to the red zone, slow things down here. Nice job of coming out of the gates in the second half and running it right down the throats. Great job of Drew Gunther on hitting on those short passes.
Ball is now on the 12-yard line of GA. 2nd and 3. Gunther in shotgun, sends McGuire in motion, and he hands it off to him. McGuire has a hole, powering forward, and he's in. Keith McGuire drags a man into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Friars have opened up a 3-score run, 20 consecutive points for Malvern.
40th carry of the season for Keith McGuire, and he finds the end zone again. He's done that a couple times on the ground, also through the air, and with a couple of interception return touchdowns. And that drive was, again, all about that senior experience. There was just no way to find one player to key on. A great job of changing things up, almost a different player on every single rush or reception, and a good job by converting and marching down the field.
Now Constantini follows with the extra point. It's good, and it's a 21-3 lead for the Friars. That drive took 7 plays. They went 57 yards in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and Malvern's starting to run away with this one.
Gunther's completed 5 passes in a row, starting to find his stride now, it looks like there, Chris. And
here on the replay,
bringing Keith out of the wide spot on a little bit of a jet sweep. Not necessarily a roll we've seen a lot from Keith this season, but we've seen a lot of other players like Lonnie White and Ryan Iacone take that, and a great job. He knows what to do with it as he found the hole. Great vision by Keith McGuire and able to walk it in. The blocking has been exceptional as well for the Malvern Prep Friars up front.
And you mentioned a few moments ago that Gunther's starting to heat up. A lot of his completions in this second half came off of some screen passes, so perhaps Malvern recognizing something with the way that GA is running their defensive schemes. They're attacking that. They threw 2 or 3 screen passes on that drive, Kevin.
Yeah, early in the season we saw a lot more of that man-on-man, that deep stuff. Berks Catholic, they felt like they had a matchup, so Malvern Prep went to a lot of quote-unquote go routes, wheel routes, but the Friars have also mixed in a lot of yak plays, yards after the catch, and Taji Leach, one of those players, again, we were mentioning he was averaging around 30 to 50 yards a catch throughout the majority of the first part of the season, and a lot of that was because you get that quick slant or that quick screen route, you get the blocking, and then they'll do the rest of it. Very talented in the receiver corps.
Now the ball falls off the kicking stand. We've seen that a couple times here today. Players have had to hold the snap, or hold it down, I should say, for the kick here, as Tinson will be the placeholder for Constantini on the kickoff. GA has Lacey Snowden back to return.
8 different receivers have caught a pass today for Malvern Prep, and they threw to Quincy Watson, who didn't have a reception. So, again, we're really starting to see that depth of this team in this game.
A balanced offense for the Friars. Got off to a slow start, but have turned it up since the second quarter. And an absolute bomb by Constantini on the kickoff. It sails over the end zone.
You almost sounded surprised there, Chris.
Well, that's the reason why Constantini is going to be lacing it up for Penn State next year as a Nittany Lion.
Yeah, had 18 touchbacks last fall, and then this year he's just picked up right where he left off. Good on the kickoff game. And, again, he's got quite the leg. Coach continues to tell us, 40 to 45 maybe we'll try it. We just haven't seen it. He said maybe he'd be comfortable up toward 50 if the game was close, but we just, again, haven't seen that necessarily transpire this season.
So now GA will have it for the first time in the second half. Ball is on their 20-yard line. Hand off to Vance. He goes up the middle. Not much of a gain there.
Goes up the middle.
I like what I'm seeing from Vance. I imagine you do too, Chris. Only a junior. I say only a junior, but that's another guy that Germantown Academy can look toward. One of 10 juniors on this program.
Yeah, Vance is a guy who has a chance to become just the 10th rusher in GA program history with 1,000 or more rushing yards in a single season. And on second down, complete pass to Tayshawn Mack. A nice throw from Matt Brittingham. GA has a first down.
Second catch for Mack today. Yeah, Vance has almost 100 yards in this game unofficially, so he's really creeping up, almost 100 away from that 1,000 plateau.
Now Vance takes this handoff, goes up the middle, got maybe 3 or 4. Another solid gain for the junior running back.
Tackle made by number 9, Demir Brown.
Ball is spotted on the GA 41, so it's a gain of 3. That'll bring up second down. Brittingham going to hand off to Vance. He goes up the middle.
Vance on the carry.
Met by a pair of Friars.
Guerrera.
Guerrera and McGuire in on that play.
Brings up third.
It'll be third down and 4.
This is the third straight game that Vance has had 20 or more carries. He had 26 carries in that game against SCH and then 21 last week against Episcopal.
So third down and 4 now. GA started off successfully, completing 3 of 4 third down plays. Brittingham going to run for it. It'll be close as he's pushed out of bounds, but now flags fly late.
They're going to call that on McGuire as he met him out of bounds. That's the second late hit call from the officials on Malvern Prep in this game, both on that far side of the field.
It was going to be close to the first down. It would have depended on the spot as Brittingham went out of bounds near the marker, but if it is 15 yards, Kevin, which I think it will be, this is going to be a huge pickup for the Patriots.
Like you said, there was a little bit of doubt if he was going to get it or not, and got to credit McGuire for being at the right place at the right time, but also credit to Brittingham. Again, we mentioned only, 16, 17 carries coming into this game, but he's done a good job of using his legs when the play's not there, and 8 yards a carry almost every time.
So after the penalty for a late hit, the ball is placed on the Malvern 37-yard line. Brittingham in shotgun. Hands it off to Vance.
Vance goes up the middle.
Short gain there. Good job by the interior lineman on the Friars defense. Demir Brown made the tackle. That brings up 2nd and 9.
Germantown Academy was averaging almost 5 yards a carry in the first half on the ground, and Malvern Prep has done a good job of limiting them to 5 yards or less here. As we know, it's balanced toward the run attack for the Patriots.
On second down, handoff. Snowden met and taken down immediately by McGuire.
Snowden on the carry.
And when you have a player that has schools like Ohio State, Alabama looking at you, and McGuire going to a school that's known for their defense and the Clemson Tigers, you watch him tackle and you almost know. You don't have to know anything about the game. You show up, you're like, that guy's going to play at the D1 level. Great form, great wrap-up around the edge from McGuire.
That's why the PA announcer here, Mr. Iacone, calls him Keith the Beast. And his tackle sets up 3rd down and 9. Brittingham rolling right. Fires. It's intercepted. Intercepted by James Hayes. Cayman Hayes.
6.
This is 6th interception, Kevin. Came into today with 5 on the year, now has 6.
19 as a whole for the team. This has been outstanding.
Well, here it is on the replay. Brittingham rolling right, but it's picked off by Cayman Hayes.
He did not have a lot of real estate there, Chris, so almost like a receiver having to tap that foot in there. Did a good job of staying in bounds and reading the route on the edge.
So after 8 plays, The GA drive is stalled thanks to Hayes' interception. The Friars will have it with the ball on their own 30-yard line. 6:44 to go in the quarter. It's a handoff to White. White around the right edge. Gets 5 on the carry.
It's Jack Sheridan with the wrap-up. One of the captains, 6-foot senior for the Patriots.
Gain of 7, second and
2
3.
7-yard carries on this game for Lonnie White.
So it'll be second down now and short for the Friars. Watson in the backfield with Gunther. It's a handoff to Watson. He goes up the middle. Close to a first down. It'll depend on the spot.
Donovan Ganges stopped him. Close to that first down, but they're going to move the chains.
So a first down run there for Watson. Ball now on the 39-yard line of Malvern Prep.
9 carries and counting in the game for Quincy Watson, who is going to Delaware. Made an easy transition, as you mentioned, from receiver to running back. He said he's been playing that running back spot his whole life. Started playing football since he was, around 6, and doing a very good job of it.
Now Iacone goes in motion. Gunther off his back foot, firing deep for White, but it's off target. A dangerous pass over the middle, but it falls incomplete.
Yeah, sometimes you can get away with that throw with the poor mechanics. Again, off the back foot. He had the wind working with him as well, but not there. Very fortunate after 5 straight completions to come away with that incomplete there.
So he'll set up second down and 10. Back to Quincy for a moment, though. Kevin, you mentioned been a running back most of his life, played receiver last year, but that's got to be a steal for Delaware, having a dual threat back who can take it on a handoff but also go out and receive passes.
Yeah, he's excited to play closer to where his family can watch some of his games, as his father played there, was a stud linebacker.
Here he is on second down and 10. Gets a couple there. That'll set up third.
So in terms of money downs, if you will, the Malvern Prep defense did not start off well in that territory, and the offense was also struggling on third down. That was very early, but Malvern has really flipped the page there and has improved that as this game has gone along. Third down in decent territory here for Gunther.
8 yards to go. Friars have to get the ball to their own 49-yard line to pick up the first down.
It's been tough for the Patriots today, too. They've turned it over 3 times.
We talked about that before the broadcast. That's what makes Malvern so tough to beat. They force you to make mistakes. As Gunther stepping up in the pocket, he might run for the first down, and he does. Hardly ever see that from Drew Gunther, but a beautiful run up the middle. He picks up 10 and keeps the drive alive.
He's been credited for 23 carries heading into this game, but a lot of those carries are actually sacks. So a great run there, and you can see the baseball slide was well in effect. He did not want to get hit there.
Now handoff Watson. He's going to lose a couple. Penalty flag flies late on the play. We'll see what the call is here.
Holding against the Friars.
So it'll be holding against the Friars, and that's going to move him back 10 yards. Have a second look at that run from Gunther. There's a blitz off the edge. Gunther picked it up and just saw a hole up the middle, ran through it for the first down.
Well, the crowd loved it. And that's just the type of play that you see a lot at the higher level, too, because if nothing's there and they're not spying you, why not take all that opportunity? And sometimes that could be very dangerous. We've seen that for Malvern, that dual threat capability. They faced it against Petty. They faced it also against Episcopal. It's very tough to account for, and a good job of taking advantage of a defense that was napping. However, now you have that holding penalty, and you got to work from way back on first down.
Ball is now on the 39-yard line of Malvern. Gunther on first down, going to throw a screen pass. It's complete to Ryan McGuire. He gets a couple yards. Tackled at about the 47-yard line of Malvern.
Ryan McGuire now 2 catches for 15 yards. A lot of credit to Ryan Iacone there. Didn't necessarily have to throw a block, but he got his body in position to get between him and the defender and allow McGuire to pick up a couple extra yards.
It'll be second down and 14 now for Malvern. Gunther going to go with an empty backfield. 3 receivers to his left. GA's showing blitz here. Now they back off. It's a 4-man rush. Gunther with time. Over the middle has McGuire. That's too easy. He cuts back left. Nice tackle there by Jack Sheridan. But not before McGuire picks up a huge gain.
25 yards. That's good for a Friar first down.
25 yards on the pickup. The ball is spotted on the GA 28-yard line.
Nice find by Gunther there as Jake Shue, the safety, was actually running back and forth, and Gunther had to read that play and did a good job of dropping it in the middle of the field in that one-on-one coverage. And as you said, too easy almost every time.
Gunther now. Handoff. Watson taken down at the line of scrimmage. Great tackle by Luke Strauss.
Shane Harkins, loss of 1, 2nd and 11.
Shane Harkins coming up the middle there and wrapping up the ankle. It's always tough to bring down the running back when he gets ahead of steam, and one way to limit that is to not let him get going.
Now set up 2nd down and 11 now. Watson goes in motion. Handoff to McGuire. Gets a few as he runs up the middle.
Goes behind his offensive line on the left side. Gain of 5.
McGuire's brought down at the 25-yard line of GA, so this will set up 3rd down and 7.
3rd and 7.
53 yards on 2 catches for Keith McGuire. He's also carried it twice. Does have a touchdown on the ground, a 13-yard touchdown in this 3rd quarter early on.
3rd down and 7 now for the Friars. Empty backfield for Gunther. Gunther looking right, off the hands of White. It would have been a 1st down, but he could not come away with it. That brings up 4th down.
Ball's incomplete, brings up 4th.
Friars offense staying on for now. This is manageable territory for Constantini to make a kick, especially when you consider the wind is blowing left to right on the screen. So the Friars feeling confident they're going to leave their offense out there.
Gunther 4 of 6 in this 2nd half so far through the air. And you could argue maybe that one should have been a completion. Great route run by Lonnie White there. Got to put the pedal down, right?
Being aggressive. That's what a lot of fans like to see. Friars going to go for it. Gunther with time. Lobbing it for Leach at the back corner of the end zone, but he overthrew him. So the Friars go aggressive, but come up empty.
The wind is blowing toward that corner. And as we mentioned, started out around 5 miles per hour, but then whipped up to around 10 as the game has gone on. And the wind may have got a hold of that one as Gunther gunned it a little bit.
So the Friars use 11 plays to go from their own 29-yard line to the 25 of GA, but it's a turnover on downs. It took off 5 minutes and 20 seconds from the clock. GA will have the ball now, their own 25-yard line. First play, Vance. Short gain there.
So 7 runs and 2 passes here unofficially for the Patriots in this 3rd quarter with about 1:01 to go in it. Cayman Hayes had an interception on the last drive for the Patriots. It was nice, Chris, to see him finally get in the end zone. We've seen a number of the Malvern Prep Friars bring back interceptions for touchdowns, and Hayes was waiting for it, and he finally did against Episcopal Academy a couple weeks ago.
Now on 2nd down, incomplete pass. But yeah, as you mentioned, for Hayes, Kevin, we've seen so many players get into the end zone, and for him that must have felt good. And 6 interceptions now, finally able to take one back to the house.
By number 26, Nick Guerrera brings up 3rd and 7.
After the incomplete pass on 2nd down, GA is going to have a 3rd and 7. 36 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Patriots trail by 18. Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Flettinger. It was a slow start for the Malvern Prep Fire's offense, Kevin, but since the 2nd quarter, since halfway through then, they have been explosive. GA's offense has sputtered for most of this game. They're looking to get back in it here. This is a big 3rd down for them. Screen pass incomplete. It's a 3-and-out for GA.
Is anybody in the area there?
Well,
that has to be the call because I don't see any receiver in the area. Yep. Nobody was there, just offensive linemen. They were not eligible receivers. And that is the tough penalty to take. Of course, that comes as a loss of down to 33.1 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
And now the punting unit going to have to come onto the field for GA. A big stop there for the Friars, Kevin.
Yeah, it brings up 4th down, and then that penalty is really going to hurt too because they're going to have to punt now out of their own end zone. And Lonnie White gets to stand at midfield and lick his chops here with 33 seconds left. Maybe they can even put on some more points in the 3rd quarter here at this rate.
Lonnie White, always a threat to take it back to the house on a kick return, but he won't here. It's a very short punt. Bounces at the 20. It takes a fortuitous roll, but it's a net of 20 yards. Malvern's going to start this drive on the GA 30-yard line.
Friars take over the ball. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line.
20 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. It's a 21-3 lead for the Friars. Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Flettinger. It's been all Malvern since quarter number 2. So a short drive there for GA, just 3 plays. Took a minute off the clock.
Chris, let's give some credit here to the offensive line as we've done throughout the season. Maybe not enough, though. I don't think we've done it enough. Will Redden and Brendan Flynn, both juniors, they started the season on that O-line. And then Harry Stinger, Buck Walsh, and Jake Hornibrook, some of the seniors, 3 of 22 that have done a good job up front.
Watson takes the handoff, and he'll tell you more than anybody the reason for his success this season has been his offensive lineman, as he picks up about 5 or 6 there. And that run will take us to the 4th quarter. We're going to take a break. The Friars with a 21-3 lead. You're watching SFBN's presentation of Malvern Prep football.
Welcome to Granite Run Buick GMC. Here's what some of our customers have to say.
There's more of a family atmosphere here.
Thank you, Granite
Run. Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
If you're in the market for a new car or truck, do what I did. Go see my friend Ryan Irish and his team at Granite Run Buick GMC. These guys are the best.
And that's why we welcome you to Granite Run.
Visit us in person or online at graniterun.com.
Back to Quigley Field on the campus of Malvern Prep. Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Flettinger as Quincy Watson takes a 2nd down handoff for a 5-yard gain and a 1st down.
13 carries for just over 40 yards for Watson. We were just talking on the break. Gunther started around 3 for 9, but boy, he's been sharp ever since. Had 5 straight completions at one point, around 9 of 18 for somewhere around 164 yards in this game. And the touchdown pass to Leach.
Gunther, who was honored at halftime for breaking several program records for this Friar squad. He throws on first down. It's complete to Iacone. Cut back. Has the angle. Touchdown. Ryan Iacone.
Third catch of the game, and it's a house call for Iacone, the leading receiver for most of the season for this squad. And boy, was that a one-on-one play, as he has crept up closer to 500 yards on the season. Iacone has been a great player. And that was more of that, again, get the ball to him in space, and he will make the rest happen. One-on-one with that slot defender. Great job of making that move.
Iacone has been Gunther's favorite target this season, the lead receiver for the Friars. Constantini's kick is up, high, and no good. The wind seemed to be a big factor there. Well, here's the Iacone catch and run on the replay, Kevin.
Take a look at his 4th touchdown of the season through the air. There was really nobody else there. Lonnie White had cleared out and took a defender with him, and Iacone did a great job of splitting the defenders. It was all man all the way, and once he beat his man, it was over. 20 yards to the house, and it's 27-3 with 11:20 to go.
So for the Friars on that drive, 3 plays, they went 30 yards in just 60 seconds. They've scored 27 unanswered now, and if you're GA, Kevin, I know they've kept the ball on the ground and had some success there, moving it within the 20-yard markers, but with 11:20 to go, trailing by 3 scores, at what point do you just go to the air and forget about the run game?
Well, the success that they had was in the first half. Malvern has done a good job adjusting and limiting any of that success in the second 2 stanzas of play so far. And Nominski got the Patriots on the board first in this game with a 30-yard field goal in the first quarter, and then since then, Malvern has done a good job defensively. And I think the adjustments that Coach Dave Guerrero was talking to you about in the halftime conversation, I think they've taken their toll here as West gets set to boot it away.
It's number 78, Cornelius West, senior from Downingtown, PA. Kick on the ground is picked up by Snowden. He goes up the middle, and he's tackled near the 35-yard line of GA. A good return there. Got 21 yards on it.
West out of Downingtown, one of the seniors. He had 5 PATs in the Roman Catholic game when they were without Constantini. Hennessy made the stop there for Malvern Prep. It was tough to kick that one. It was just falling off the tee almost. So, okay field position for the Patriots. They got to get to work quickly and have a sense of urgency here with 11 minutes to go.
Brittingham looking towards the sideline, taking signals from the coaching staff, changing the play at the line of scrimmage. First down, fake handoff. Brittingham with loads of time, fires it deep, nearly intercepted by Hayes. That would have been pick number 2 on the day.
Still waiting for our Stoll Agency play of the game. We haven't made that determination yet. Almost had it there. I got to imagine there's a smile there on the field as Hayes exchanges some words with Michael Hussey about how that played out. You talked about it, Chris. Do you go to the air more? It looks like that might be the case for the Patriots.
Pass was intended for Tayshawn.
Brittingham has thrown 4 passes in this second half so far, 2 interceptions on the day.
Now he'll hand off left. Vance with an angle. It's going to be a big pickup. So they stay on the ground on second down, but he gets 13 yards there. Tackled just shy of midfield.
Second longest run of the day for Vance. I really like that play call, too. Just as we were starting to say, is this passing territory for the Patriots to change it up and get the blocking on the outside? You talked about it. Roten got some looks from the big programs and then decided to go to Duke. He's number 65, the 6'4 senior on the far side. And then Avery Samuels was getting some looks from Ivy League programs coming into the year. He's 6'4", 315 as well.
On first down and 10 now from their own 49. Brittingham's pass is complete, and still on his feet is Ruth. Ruth has an angle. Could go, but he's pushed out of bounds by Ty G. Leach near the 10-yard line of Malvern Prep. Good pursuit by Ty G, but an excellent reception and run by Ruth.
39 yards on his first catch of the game for Ruth. Great job on the play. And how many times, Chris, have we said Taji Leach's name, playing almost free safety in that 4-4 stack, saving the day and saving the touchdown?
Touchdown save for now. Snowden takes the handoff, goes up the middle, tackled at the 10-yard line.
Number 90, Kevin White.
Kevin White credited with the tackle. The senior from Westchester.
Second and 8.
It'll be 2nd and 8 now after a gain of 2 on the carry. 10 minutes to go in the game. Brittingham fires over the middle, nearly picked off. McGuire was in the area. Good coverage by Leach as well.
Oh, you got two of the, well, I don't know who the best defenders are on this team. It's kind of tough to tell. There's a lot of good ones on Malvern Prep, but you've got a guy going to Lehigh, free safety, and then the middle linebacker going to Clemson. I don't know if you want to try to force it into that window of double coverage because they had a good job there.
So it'll be 3rd down and 8 now for GA, but this is 4-down territory now. As you are down. Bad snap. Brittingham's just going to fall on it. A huge loss. Brittingham falls on it on the 30-yard line, but it's a 20-yard loss, and that is detrimental to this GA offense. Here it is on the replay, Kevin.
Almost the 4th turnover of the game. It was just at the snap. It was just a bad snap, and got to credit Brittingham. He almost lost it there on the initial dive, but a good job of pulling it back in. And you get a chance to give it to Malvern deeper into their own territory here. Boy, that's been tough. Almost turnover number 4 for the Patriots, and the Friars have done a good job with ball security so far this afternoon. They have not turned it over.
So 4th and 27 now. Brittingham just going to swing it out to Vance. Vance trying to pick up the first down, but he comes nowhere close. Tackled about 12 yards shy. It's a turnover on downs, and the Friars take over with 8:57 to go.
Great effort there, Vance. Nice initial burst of speed to get by Nick Guerrero, but Backrath took him out around the original line of scrimmage, and Malvern will get the football back. A Friars team, Chris, seeking their 3rd straight Interact title, and I believe 34th overall Interact championship. They have had a lot of success over the years. We always laugh when we look at the all-time records, 46, 18, and 4, as we saw listed in the series for Malvern over at Germantown Academy. And certainly a very historic powerhouse, but GA did share the title recently with Malvern Prep, and so they had come back to prominence, for the first time in about 12 years, a few years ago.
As Watson has a nice gap, he picks up a big first down. But back to what you were saying, Kevin, this will be for Malvern now. With a win today, if they're able to hold on, they'll at least clinch a tie for the Interact Championship, because the only other team with just one loss is Penn Charter, who Malvern already beat, but there's no tiebreaker in this league, unfortunately. So Malvern will clinch a tie with a victory here today. It'll be their 3rd straight Interact Championship. And this will be the 15th season in a row, Kevin, going back to 2005, that the Friars have beaten this GA team, as Iacone on first down makes a catch just shy of the first down marker.
4th catch of the game for Iacone.
2nd and 1.
Gunther now 11 of 20 for right around 200 yards for the game.
Another huge game for Gunther, Kevin, and as you mentioned before the game, he's now in prime position to break the school record for most passing yards in a season as he sets the throw on second down here, but it's a bit too high for Lonnie White.
Timmy Ruth wanted the interception. White's hand said no. A good job of playing defense there and tipping it away because he wasn't able to adjust to catch that one. So third down and very manageable here.
7 minutes, 48 seconds to go in this game. It's a 27-3 lead for the Friars. Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Footinger. It's been all Malvern since quarter number 2. Gunther going to hand off to Watson. Watson stops short of the first down. Keith McGuire signaling that he got it, but I think he was well short there, Kevin.
Nice job by Shane Harkins, too, 6'1", 185, of sneaking in there. The junior had some help from the push up front from the white jerseys and almost no gain there.
The Friars offense wants to go for it here as they're signaling that to Coach Guerrera, and they're going to stay on the field. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 1, ball on their own 37-yard line. 7:10 to go in the game. Watson goes in motion. Hand off McGuire, and he breaks a couple tackles. Still going. McGuire's free. Could go all the way. Keith McGuire rumbles into the end zone on a 63-yard rush.
Hey, we were looking for a Stoll Agency play of the game. I wonder if we just found
it. We'll see that on the replay. That is going to be today's Stoll Agency play of the game.
So you're sitting here saying, all right, you're up by that much. You're going for it on 4th down. Okay. Oh, wait, Keith McGuire's in the backfield. And then he just breaks a couple of tackles, and the tank that is Keith McGuire just runs straight up the middle and all the way to the touchdown.
Well, there it is. Once again, Kevin, our Stoll Agency play of the game. Stoll Bonds and Insurance specializes in the construction business industry. For all your bonding and construction insurance needs, please go to www.stollagency.com as the extra point is good. A 34-3 lead now for the Friars, and this one has gotten ugly late, Kevin. One more time, we'll take a look at that run by McGuire. It's a handoff in the backfield, met initially by a tackler, but he breaks that one, and we get to see his speed showcase there.
3 carries, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns today. Not bad for a guy who's going to play linebacker.
Bright future for McGuire. Headed to Clemson next year.
Hey, we know about his receiving prowess, and again, he was forced to share the load a little bit out of the backfield. And the offensive line, I got to give them credit too for that run because they opened up the initial hole, but then McGuire did the rest. You've got that tight formation defensively. Everybody's selling out on the run on 4th down. They knew what was coming. They just couldn't stop it. Once that tackle was broken, the speed really just ended up finishing the deal.
So with 6 minutes and 55 seconds to go, Friars will kick off. It's a 31-point lead for Malvern.
Number 5, Lacey.
And Cornelius West was out to kick that last extra point. And the junior, Henry Connors, out of Malvern, 5'10", 140. He is on now here to kick off.
Connors squibs it up the middle. Return here by number 32, Jack Sheridan, and he breaks free. Sheridan has the angle. Could go. Sheridan's in. So in a matter of about 10 seconds off the play clock, a touchdown for both these teams, and that's got to feel good for GA, who has been basically hapless since the first quarter on offense.
A little bit of short kickoff, and you see Sheridan working through his blocks, near miss there, and then the speed just took over. That's nice to see for Sheridan, who I think you would agree has been all over the place defensively. We've seen him make a number of great hits in the open field, and then Sheridan gets some scoring on the board here with that return, and good blocking as well on that short kick.
Sheridan, a senior captain for the Patriots, able to get them into the end zone for the first time here today. Extra point is up and good. It was a low snap, but a nice hold. GA converts on the extra point. 6:42 to go. It's a 34-10 lead now for the Friars. Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Fodinger.
And his first touchdown of the season, I believe, as well. Good to get it in the return game. Chris, you know what? We're going to watch this again. I'm going to let you take a look at it. But I think it's just pretty simple. Just good blocking on the return. And then the bounce there really caught Malvern off guard.
Yeah, I think it just caught us. I caught everyone in the stadium for a surprise there, Kevin. I don't think they thought, did the Friars, that a squib kick was going to be returned for a touchdown. That's the whole point of why you do that.
So 6:42 to go, and a great job of the Patriots of not quitting here, still trying to stay in this game. But credit to the seniors for what has been a 9-0 and maybe shortly a 10-0 start to equal what has been the best start in Malvern history. Now, of course, those other Malvern teams didn't get to play that many games. So we talked before about a Friar team that's not part of the PIAA, so they don't get to play in the postseason, play for that state championship. So they have to find other things to do. And the first order of business, if you will, this year was to improve that non-conference schedule. They did that. They went undefeated through that. And then win another Interact title, and they're on their way to clinching at least a share of that here today. And then you've got that, hey, we could be the first team to win 11 at Malvern. So you play for those marks when you're playing in the Interact Conference as the kickoff sails out of the end zone. And those 22 seniors have gotten them to this point. Every coach, it seems like that they face, they say, oh boy, what a deep team we're facing today. It's got to be nice to have that experience. And all these guys are starting and have started and have played for a number of years.
And that's why this has been a historic season for Malvern, as you're mentioning, Kevin. They came into this year, and we talked to not just Coach Guerrero, we talked to Keith, we talked to Drew, and they all said, we're hungry. We're out, basically to avenge what we thought was a poor start to our season last year. This is a team that got off to a 1-4 start non-conference last year. They went undefeated in conference play to win the Interact, but they came out, smelled blood early on in the year, and they haven't lost a game all season long. Unfortunately, we will not be able to cover them next week, but it's been a pleasure to do these broadcasts. As on first down now, it's a handoff.
Boyle is in at quarterback. He does have a touchdown this season, does Boyle. And he did it against Roman Catholic on the ground.
Loss of 2 yards there.
It was Nick Guerrera, I believe.
Guerrera in now, Watson off.
136 rush yards in the second half for Malvern Prep. Looks like an impressive number, and most of that, of course, was on the 83-yard run by Keith McGuire for a touchdown the last time down the field.
McGuire has excelled in the running game. Guerrera early on in the year when Watson couldn't play, he really shouldered the load. I think that kind of goes forgotten, Kevin, how much of an impact
Not
Guerrera
by us.
Guerrera had
we talked to his father a little bit, too. He's handled that well, by the way. Continues to go out there and play linebacker.
Now this pass by Boyle, nearly picked off. Would have been an excellent catch by Ruth. He went up for it with one hand, but couldn't bring it down to the ground.
Looking for Carlini there, who had a catch earlier in this game for a gain of around 10. But again, outstanding wrestler is Nick Guerrera. Early in the season, Coach Guerrera, his uncle said that Westchester would be a good fit for him, maybe at the next level. Still looking for that next level on where maybe he'll play football. But okay, it's nice to play against or alongside Keith McGuire at linebacker. But he did a great job at running back as well. Has pretty good vision, and you almost look at him as that fullback guy, but he's got a little bit of speed as well. Good burst. He shouldered the load very well for most of the season and had no problem taking a back seat to Quincy once Quincy was able to play again at the running back position.
Had a touchdown on the ground here today. It was Malvern's first score on the afternoon. Now this handoff goes to number 24, Tyler Francis. And that will be a 3-and-out for the Friars.
One of the seniors had a couple of carries against Avon Grove and Episcopal Academy. That was his 7th carry of the season for one of the seniors. Good opportunity to get some of these other seniors in the ballgame as well, who have really provided a lot for this Malvern team. A lot of times that we don't see at practices. Some of these other guys have to step in because these guys have to practice against someone, And so a lot of credit to these other guys who we don't necessarily call their names all the time, but the guys on special teams, the seniors that come in there, and it's good to see them get a chance to play here.
They're going to have a chance on defense now
Jake Brown.
to get a big stop. GA with the ball in good field position. 5:01 to go in the game. The Patriots will have the ball on Malvern's 39-yard line.
So we see guys like Aiden Hardy coming out there, some of the other seniors, with Johnny Turley in the middle. Of course, a regular starter, but getting some of these other guys on the field for the Friars.
Pass over the middle, broken up, thrown into traffic. And that, I think, is going to be
Timothy Ruth, Tyjee Leach.
As Ruth is still down. Tough hit there on Ruth. Never want to see that, Kevin.
Well, Malvern was a little bit late getting a player on at the end. He got on, and then Brittingham was looking that way. He noticed. Nice job by Leach, as we've seen. He read her out earlier to get the interception, and the receiver, Ruth, just didn't see him, and that was tough. You talk about, the player doesn't have the opportunity to have both feet on the ground. He was up in the air looking at the football, didn't see Leach coming, and delivered the boom there.
Ruth still down. 4 minutes, 55 seconds to go on the clock. It's a 34-10 lead for the Friars. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching SFBN's presentation of Malvern Prep football.
Welcome to Granite Run Buick GMC. Here's what some of our customers have to say.
There's more of a family atmosphere here.
Thank you,
Granite Run. Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
Thank you, Granite Run.
If you're in the market for a new car or truck, do what I did. Go see my friend Ryan Irish and his team at Granite Run Buick GMC. These guys are the best.
And that's why we welcome you to Granite Run.
Visit us in person or online at graniterun.com.
Welcome back to Quigley Field on the campus of Malvern Prep alongside Kevin Foedinger. I'm Chris Markowitz. It's a 34-10 lead for the Friars. 4 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the game as Timmy Ruth, good sign, was up on his feet and made his way towards the GA sideline. It'll be second down and 10 for the Patriots as Brittingham going to run up the middle, and he is met by Guerrera. Hard hit, fumble potentially.
John Turley on the tackle.
Did you say hard hit, Chris?
I did say hard hit, Kevin. And as a matter of fact, that's going to be our All-American Sporting Goods hard hit of the game. We'll come back to that one in just a moment as we got live action on the field. 3rd down and 2 for GA. Handoff up the middle to Vance. He's going to pick up the first down, but now we'll go back to that tackle.
Tackle made by senior number 73.
And here it is on the replay.
Aiden Hardy.
Back to live action. It's going to be 1st down and 10 for GA. Less than 4 minutes to go. Brittingham going to fire for the end zone. He overthrows his man, Tayshawn Mack.
Tayshawn Mack is incomplete.
GA last year started 4-2, but then were plagued by injuries and finished 4-6. And a good start to the season this year. And as we talked about before, you were taking a look at that line. You had a couple of multiple-year starters on that line and a lot of size, and we've seen that line be very successful in this game as well, and Vance running behind it.
On 2nd down, this pass is caught. A one-handed grab by Griffin Batchelor. He runs out of bounds on the close sideline. Decent pickup there. Clock stops.
Forced out of bounds by number 31, Kevin Hayes.
Go to a replay of the catch. Here it is, Kevin. Nice snag there by Griffin Batchelor. So 3rd and 3 now for the Patriots. Brittingham going to hand off to Vance. Left. Met by Guerrera and taken down.
Tackle made by senior number 26, Nick Guerrera.
Clock still running.
unofficially 28 carries for Vance for around 120 yards. This is his highest workload in a single game of the season. He's been doing a pretty good job.
4th and 1.
The one touchdown was on a kickoff return for Germantown Academy, if you're joining us late.
That was by Sheridan. Now pass to the end zone is caught.
Touchdown.
Tayshawn Mack in for the score. A nice pass there by Brittingham. Patriots getting a couple scores late in this game.
14, Tayshawn Mack with reception for a Patriot 14-yard touchdown.
So it's now a 34-16 lead for the Friars. And the GA offense is going to stay on here to go for 2. This makes sense here, Kevin, because obviously, you get it. It's a 16-point game. You're limiting the amount of drives you need to go on to get back in this one, but with 3:07 to go, it's a difficult road for GA, but it's got to start somewhere. Brittingham steps up, pass deflected, and that keeps this as a 3-possession game.
Good job by Aiden Hardy and a couple other players in blue shirts getting through and putting some pressure on Brittingham and forcing the inaccuracy on the throw. Leach was there anyway at the back end, but a good job on holding strong on that 2-point conversion.
Well, we're going to take another look at the touchdown. It's a nice pass from Brittingham on a fade route.
Oh, it had to be to get over to Carlini, who was right all over him on coverage.
Good execution there, and then the extra point attempt here, Kevin. No good.
It might have been actually Guerrero who got in there first, and then good block sliding over by, I think, Vance, and then the rest of the line kind of collapsed through to force that incompletion. So I need to give it back to the Friars, who are a team that can go for it on 4th down from their own 30, I guess, and then take it 83 yards and score a touchdown. So it's a tough ask for the GA defense, especially with this type of deficit that they're working from, Chris. But you were mentioning how little time's left, and I think you still got to give credit to GA and the Patriots. They have not given up. A lot of times you see teams hang their heads and just stop playing, and they're continuing to try to make this score a little bit more respectable, and a lot of credit to them.
GA still giving an effort late in this game. They line up potentially for an onside kick here. The Friars anticipating that. Short kick, but Tyler Tinson has it. Friars will have the ball with great field position. 3:07 to go. They're near midfield. Chris Markowitz alongside Kevin Fodinger. It's a 34-16 lead for the Friars. And Kevin, it's that time of the game. What players really stood out for you? Who are the more notable performers for the Friars here today?
I don't know if I'm ready to answer that question for player of the game yet, Chris, so you're going to have to give me a couple minutes. I was trying to see what they were going to do at quarterback. They had Jack Boyle out there in the previous series, but looks like Gunther's out there now after the score by GA. And he's got Guerrera out there to his left.
Gunther going to hand it off to Guerrera. He'll go up the middle. Nice game there for Guerrera.
That was his second carry of the game. His first carry was a 13-yard touchdown in the second quarter.
3 yards on the carry for Guerrera. That sets up 2nd down and 7.
Malvern was only averaging around 4 yards per carry, 3.5 maybe on 7 or 8 carries in the first half, and a lot of their rushing prowess has to do with the long run by Keith McGuire, but also them being ahead here, and they've done a good job of getting the push up front and getting pretty decent gains here with players like Watson and company, McGuire and Guerrera.
Ball now on the 49-yard line of GA. 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Clock running. 2nd and 7. Handoff to McGuire. Breaks a couple tackles. Gets a couple. So a good gain by McGuire as he was met first in the backfield, about 2 yards shy of the line of scrimmage, but he ends up turning it into a gain.
Yeah, we don't have access to the next level ESPN Academy stats, caliber of stats at that level, but I'd like to see the yards after contact stat on Keith McGuire.
I would assume it's going to be up there, especially when you consider he got 63 on a touchdown run after being met in the backfield.
Well, yeah, this game and the entire season, really. First part of the season, he had a majority of his carries, and then only around, 11 carries over 3 games once Watson took over, and they're starting to use him here to try to run the game out with a minute 30 to play.
Third down, it would be a handoff to Guerrera, but a nice job defensively by GA. Jeff Decker met him initially.
And then Elijah Roten, you can't miss him. Going to Duke, delivered the finishing blow.
Clock continues to run, 1:07 to go. Malvern going to leave their offense on the field, it looks like. Run one final play here.
Or they may just take this thing down. Coach Guerrero is speaking with the side judge over here, the linesman. He's got Drew Gunther over next to him, and the offense is starting to walk toward the sideline.
Clock still running. 43 seconds and counting, and now a timeout by the Friars.
So the punt unit's going to come out.
It's a 34-16 lead for GA, for Malvern, over GA, and with just 42 seconds to go. GA hasn't given up yet, Kevin. No, they might try to get back on the board one more time, but I think it's safe to say Malvern's improving to 10-0.
That's scary. Malvern's improving at 10-0 with 1 game left on the season. That's scary for Springside Chestnut Hill.
Big game for the Friars today. They got off to a slow start, but the defense was able to keep GA out of the end zone with some big stops. GA was moving the ball well through the ground. Defense got some turnovers.
Yeah, what was it? 3 turnovers? I think that was huge.
3 turnovers, a forced fumble, 2 interceptions. They forced a couple fumbles they weren't able to recover as well, Kevin. So defense was really able to keep the Friars in the game, and then their offense, as we've seen all season, just took off and was impossible to bring back down.
Yeah, I think there was that window for Germantown Academy to score points. They only got 3 out of it. They were able to get in the red zone a second time, but couldn't finish things off. And then, of course, Malvern's done what they've done all season, is their offense suddenly hits, the highest possible gear, and Gunther starts throwing for touchdowns. He's over 200 yards today, is Gunther, through the air. And Keith McGuire, 2 rushing touchdowns. Nick Guerrero also a rushing touchdown. So everybody's gotten involved. I believe 8 receivers, spreading the offense around, and it's just really tough to key on one player. 34-16. And again, credit to GA for not giving up 2, because they've gotten all their scoring done outside of the 30-yard field goal in this second half here.
37 seconds to go. It's an 18-point lead for the Friars. Patriots have scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And they're going to hand off here up the middle. That's Vance. Good carry there. But the clock will run.
Number 37, Christian Bachroth, and number
almost 30 carries for Vance. Boy, they've been riding him a lot today. Over 120 yards.
Yeah, if I'm Vance, I'm just lying on the couch watching football all day tomorrow. As the clock's going to run out, the Friars improve to 10-0 on the year. GA falls to 6-3, 1-3 in the Interact. And for Malvern, Kevin, 4-0. They clinch at the very worst a tie for their 3rd straight Interact title.
Congratulations to this team. I mean, business is not over yet. They still are looking at that 11-0 number, but what a season. And the best team on paper. It looks like they've done it here, and got to give a lot of credit to the seniors, as we are the champions playing. And the PA system here clinching, but again, they want to go 11-0. They want to play for those historical marks, and they'll look to do that next week. But it was a little bit of a slow start for the offense. Gunther 3 of 9, but as we just said a few moments ago, they got rolling and did a good job of finishing things off.
Once again, 34-16 victory for the Friars. We are the champs playing in the background. A fitting end to this afternoon here on the campus of Malvern Prep. And Kevin, I know I asked you a couple moments ago, a lot of great performances here today, but which really stick out to you?
See, now I can't make the excuse that there's time left and I need time to think. We've given it to Drew Gunther a lot this season. I think he did a good job. You know what? I think it's time to go back to Keith McGuire. Keith McGuire on the ground, 2 touchdowns as well through the air. He did a good job receiving. He had 2 catches on the game for right around 50 yards. So I don't want to take anything away from any of the other players because everyone had an outstanding game. The offensive line, maybe. We haven't done that many times, but I think Keith McGuire probably gets my call here.
Well, there it is, Keith the Beast McGuire.
No agreement or anything? You could totally – this is where you disagree with me.
No, I couldn't – listen, Kevin, I couldn't agree with you more because here's my perspective. Keith with a huge 28-yard catch to set up a touchdown going into the halftime. He had the 63-yard run in the end, towards the end of the game to end the game, basically, that put it without a reach. You could give it to anybody. Gunther was explosive today. Taiji Leach made some plays. Hayes with the interception, but at the end of the day, Keith McGuire, at the beginning of the season, Coach Guerrero said, he's our leader. He's real. Real knows real, and he leads this team in so many ways, not just with his performance, but with his presence and what kind of a vocal leader he is out there on the field.
Yeah, and we'll see who we end up talking to. If we do get a chance to talk at the end to Keith, I think it would bring it full circle. Last home broadcast here of the season, I think it would be nice, one of those leaders to really sum things up. But, one of those quote-unquote spokesmen for this team. He knows who he is. I don't want to use the cliche, the play within himself BS. I'm going to try to frame this another way. But I think players, teammates have said he plays within his own head. He doesn't, let things get too big for him. And I think the way that he handled the recruiting process kind of speaks to that, in that he didn't have a huge ego about it. He made his decision, and then that was it. He didn't post all over the place on social media, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson looking at me. So, I think it's another great individual, and we've been impressed with the Malvern players who have done the post-game interviews after these wins. They've been very well-spoken and have done a great job of really stressing that team atmosphere and really crediting their teammates for what they've done. And again, I want to give another shout-out to GA and what they've done this season, a pretty decent effort. Unfortunately, Longino got hurt. But in the end, Malvern, boy, it's been more of the same. A little bit of a slow start, but you know what, fans? We have to – it's almost like Nick Saban earlier in the year for Alabama when he said, maybe you guys should start writing some bad stuff about us so our players will have something to look at it. It's almost like we have to stretch to find something to criticize or look back in film room for this Malvern team because, boy, did they put on a great performance in the second half.
We were getting on them for a penalty on their first drive, 2 plays in. Like, oh, there's Malvern beating Malvern. Well, but that's it. Yeah. That's really the only mistake you see all game from a team like this.
And the beginning of the season, the one thing we were saying was slow starts, which was – a little bit of something to look at, and a point of concern for Coach Guerrero when we talked to him as well. And a little bit of a slow start today, whatever. They got down 3-0 early on, but they were able to put it together. It hasn't really mattered. And the penalties, they had a couple early on, holding call or whatever, but you know what? Defensively, Cayman Hayes, Taiji Leach, we've seen them all season long with big interceptions. Drew Gunther was outstanding, and the offensive line too. Just a great job all around.
Another great performance for the Friars. I'm going to head down to the field to catch up with Keith. Kevin, it's been a pleasure working with you this season, and I'm going to let you take the recap, my friend.
All right, that's what I'm going to do. We'll come back in just a moment. If you are still hanging around, 34-16, the final score, we're going to get an interview, so if you want to stick around for that, Chris will have that in a few moments. But congratulations to the Malvern Prep Friars as they go to 10-0 on the season. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back again with that interview. All right, welcome back. We are all set for our post-game interview with Keith McGuire, unofficially 3 carries, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and 2 receptions for 53 yards. Chris?
Thanks, Kevin. I'm here with Keith McGuire. Keith, you guys improved to 10-0 today, and with the win, you clinch at the very least a tie for the Interact Championship. This is 3 years in a row now for Malvern. What is it like to be with a program that has been this successful throughout your entire tenure here?
That's why I came here. I knew what Malvern football is about. I knew the group of guys I was coming in with. And it's been our goal, ever since we got to high school was, to win Interact Championships, and we haven't stopped. So I'm excited to play for the championship next week, and hopefully we bring it home.
You mentioned the group of guys you came in with, 22 seniors here today, honored on Senior Day. What has this group meant, not just to you as a football player, but as a person, as a young man growing up?
These are one of my, some of my closest friends on the team. You don't really get a bond with these kids like you do with friends just from school. We're together every day after school in the summer. Sweating it out, going to war on the field. So, playing with these kids, spending 4 years with them, it's been an honor, and I'm excited to call them my teammates.
10-0 after the win today. You've got a chance to move to 11-0. And in the history of Malvern, no team has ever gone 11-0. What are your thoughts on that opportunity coming up next week?
We're all excited. We're focused. We know we can't let up yet. So until we see that 11-0 on the record, we won't be satisfied till then.
Keith, congrats on the win today. Good luck moving forward, buddy.
Thank you.
Back to you, Kevin.
All right. Thanks, Chris. As we wrap things up from the Pellegrini Athletic Complex, 34-16, your final score. Malvern Prep comes away with the victory. Unofficial totals for you. Drew Gunther finished right around 200 yards, 11 of 20, no interceptions, and that 1 touchdown. He also ran the ball once for 11 yards. Keith McGuire, 3 carries for 83 yards and 2 scores. Lonnie White, 2 carries for 14 yards. Quincy Watson, 15 for a little over 50 yards on the game. Nick Guerrera, 2 carries, 16 yards, and a touchdown. And then for the receivers for Malvern Prep, Ryan Iacone, 4 for 36. Mike Hussey, 1 for 35. Lonnie White, 1 catch, 1 yard. Keith McGuire, 2 receptions, 53 yards. Taji Leach, 1 for 29 and a touchdown. Ryan McGuire, 2 for 15. Billy Carlini, 1 for 12 and tack on 10 extra yards to Iacone, so actually 5 for 45 yards for Ryan Iacone as 8 receivers caught the ball today for Malvern Prep. Outstanding performance from the 10-0 Friars. For my broadcast partner, Chris Markowitz, Steve Silvestro, our director on the broadcast today, I'm Kevin Fodinger saying so long and enjoy the weekend. Thank you for joining us this year on SFBN for the broadcast of Malvern Prep football.